And joining me now for a very special conversation is former strategist of Donald Trump. In fact, he's the man who ran Mr. Trump's campaign, President Trump's campaign earlier. Thank you so much for joining us, Sebastian Gorka. A former strategist for Donald Trump, has been quite vocal about his support for Trump's campaign. And he has also written a book titled The War for America's Soul, which has been, of course, discussed a lot. So thank you for speaking to NDTV here in India. My question to you is, the battle for America has entered a very, very crucial stage. What, according to you, has been a departure from the past in terms of narratives?
Well, it's difficult where to begin. The fact is the Democrat candidate for the presidency, Kamala Harris, basically effected a coup against the incumbent Joe Biden. Not one American voted for her to be the candidate. No Democrat primary was held. Joe Biden was threatened with the 25th Amendment, according to reports by Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, after his disastrous debate against my former boss, President Trump. And therefore, he was forced to step down, and then he gifted his delegates from the Democrat Party to Kamala Harris. So we have one man, my former boss, who received more votes than any other incumbent in presidential history, and a woman who was selected by the elite, not elected. So that's quite an interesting narrative to begin with.
Mr. Gorka, you're essentially saying that this is a battle between selection versus election. The larger question is also about the impact of what is being seen as Trumpism on the Republican Party and going ahead on the elections. How can Republicans really rebuild trust with the moderates and independent voters?
Right. So the Republican Party is now America First. It is MAGA. It is Make America Great Again. It is President Trump's party. When it comes to moderates, independents, they have a very simple question to ask themselves. It's actually the first tweet President Trump posted after he returned to X and on the day of his historic Twitter space with Elon Musk. And it goes back to Ronald Reagan's question when he was running for re-election, and he asked a very simple question. He said, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" And that's all that any American has to ask of whatever political stripe. Do you miss the years of President Trump when the world was stable, when the economy was the biggest we'd ever seen? We actually had a national border. We were energy independent. We had so much energy thanks to President Trump's policies. We were exporting energy around the world. Our friends like India felt safe, and our enemies like Russia, China, and ISIS were afraid of President Trump. That's the only question that needs to be asked. And then you juxtapose that to the last 3.5 years under Harris and Biden, which have been a complete, utter disaster. Rampant inflation, 20 million illegals let into the country, crime out of control in Democrat-run cities, war in Europe, war in the Middle East, a resurgent China. That's the only question. Do you feel like you need to return to the halcyon days of the Trump administration, or do you want more chaos? And if you want more chaos, vote for Kamala Harris.
Okay, you say that Kamala Harris's campaign is about chaos, but Mr. Gorka, I want to understand from you about the issues of national security. There has been a new kind of warfare that we have seen play out, unfortunately, just a few days ago about walkie-talkies and pagers. Do you think, given the nature of warfare capabilities, there is need for someone who has greater clarity in terms of national security policy?
Well, yeah, we need President Trump back. I mean, think about this one thing. When we were in the White House, we had no new wars for 4 years. None. We came in and we destroyed the ISIS caliphate, the largest caliphate of an insurgent movement in modern history, in 5 months. China was put in a box. Russia, Iran was, thanks to our sanction regime, the theocratic fascist regime of Tehran was put on its knees economically, and the world was more stable for 4 years than it had ever been. With regards to the Israeli operation in Lebanon, I salute Mossad, I salute the IDF. The idea that they managed to neutralize hundreds of the most heinous jihadi terrorists in one operation with the pagers, the walkie-talkies, and the cell phones, and that it took 6 years for that operation to come to full fruition. It's probably the most successful intelligence operation of the modern age. So if we are back in the White House, if President Trump, God willing, is reelected, Israel will have our full support. Relations with New Delhi will be repaired, and the world will be a stable place again.
Okay, one of the criticism that's coming for Donald Trump is that he promotes conspiracies and these theories and is a very, very polarizing figure, seen as very, very partisan as well. There is this view that America at this juncture needs someone more inclusive, someone who is not trying to create those walls. You're trying to close American dream, and that's what several critics feel.
Well, what are the conspiracy theories the campaign is promoting? Can you tell me, please? Can you give me one?
Yes, Mr. Gorka, of course, that's the critics who are saying so. Please go ahead, explain your position.
Let's talk about real conspiracy theories, and how about lunacy? We have a Democrat Party that is promoting transgenderism, even with members of their own cabinet. Men dressed as women who say, "You must call me a woman." I mean, is there no more absurd conspiracy theory that a man can become a woman or a woman can become a man? I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory, that's a lunacy. And when it comes to divisiveness, think about this. Our party has accepted former Democrats. The most famous member of the Democrat dynasty that is the Kennedy family, Robert Kennedy, was welcomed on stage to be part of the America First movement. Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat congresswoman who was excoriated and kicked out of her party because she told the truth about Hillary Clinton, likewise accepted into our party. So who are the intolerant, divisive people, if not the Democrats, who kick people out of their party and then we accept them? And then your last point, I truly don't understand that we want to build a wall. What nation can survive without national sovereignty? What nation can survive tens of millions of illegals, many of them criminals, being led into this country? I mean, ask the families of Jocelyn Nungare, the 12-year-old raped and murdered by illegals, or Rachel Marin, the beautiful mother of 5, who was killed near to where I live right now, where I am sitting in Maryland, or ask the family of the 22-year-old beautiful nursing student, Laken Riley, likewise raped and murdered by illegal immigrants. Surely we have a right to stop that, don't we?
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Sebastian Gorka, former strategist of Donald Trump, speaking to NDTV.